Now, let's talk about Delta Vega for a minute. I'm specifically referring to the Delta Vega from Star Trek, obviously. In Star Trek, the original series, Delta Vega was a planet located at the edge of the galaxy near the galactic barrier. It was a desolate planet, but rich in minerals and crystals. And it was apparently a source of lithium crystals for Federation Starship warp engines. Now, this was before dilithium. This was the second pilot of the Star Trek series, and they had not actually come up with dilithium yet, so lithium was the word they were using. Now, everybody knows lithium is an actual element, it's a metal, so in order for it to be more sci-fi-ish, when the series became regular, they changed it to dilithium, which is an unknown element, and it just makes it more plausible. Because we know how lithium basically acts. So real science could not explain how a crystal of lithium could aid in a warp reaction. Okay, anyway, that's beside the point. Delta Vega was a little planet, like I said, outside, way at the edge of the galaxy. It was like a desert planet. Very little vegetation, no animal life forms, and that was the planet that they tried to maroon Gary Mitchell on in the second pilot so that he wouldn't destroy the galaxy, and Kirk ended up killing him at the end. Now, for 40 plus years, Delta Vega has been a Star Trek continuity canon location. We know where it is, we've seen it, we've heard about it, and we know, like I say, we know where it is. We know where Delta Vega is, we know what Delta Vega looks like. We know that there's a lithium cracking station on Delta Vega, an automated lithium cracking station. Now, JJ Trek comes out, JJ Abrams and his wonderful alternate universe version of Twilight Zone Star Trek comes out in 2009. And Delta Vega has become Hoth. No longer is it a desert planet, it is now an ice world. And complete with a Wampa-like critter that goes and tries to chase Captain, or soon-to-be, Captain James T. Newkirk. And instead of a lithium cracking station, we've got some kind of generic Federation outpost in the middle of the tundra with none other than Montgomery Newscott as the only occupant other than his little Jar Jar Binks companion Kiesner. And no longer is Delta Vega at the edge of the galaxy, it's now within spitting distance of the planet Vulcan. It's so close to Vulcan, in fact, that Spock, or old Spock, Leonard Nimoy's Spock, was able to stand on the surface of New Delta Hoth, look up into the sky, and see Vulcan being imploded. So that's awfully close. They completely moved the whole planet and changed its composition. Now the problem with this is JJ Abrams and his associates would like to have us believe that his Star Trek universe is technically a branch off of the original Star Trek universe. That everything was the same up until Nero emerged from the black hole in 2233 and destroyed the USS Kelvin. At that point, supposedly, the timeline branched, and the old universe kept going its own way, and the new universe branched off and went a different way. Now that's all well and good and fine and wonderful, and I can deal with that, except for the fact that certain things just don't add up. New Delta Hoth is one of the things that don't add up. Because if the universe was the same up until Nero's arrival, then Delta Vega should not have moved. because you've heard of the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is not going to be enough to cause an entire planet to move to a completely different location. Wow, it's raining hard outside the car today. So, and also there have been arguments from the pro-JJ crowd that it's not really the same Delta Vega, it's just a different planet using the same name. And, you know, sure, I can deal with that, except for the fact that, once again, Roberto Orci did an interview on TrekMovie.com in which he was asked, did you fudge canon by relocating the planet Delta Vega? That was basically the question that was asked. Delta Vega was specifically referenced in the question. Orci's answer was, and I quote, yeah, we did. We moved the planet to suit our purposes. That was what he said. When they asked him if he fudged canon by relocating Delta Vega, he said, yeah, we moved the planet because we felt like it. Granted, he also said that they wanted to use the name as a recognizable planet name, yada yada yada, blah blah, and that's all well and good too. And they could have used any planet. They could have used XO3. They could have used Psi 2000. They could have made up a name. I don't care. But instead, they used the name Delta Vega. Delta Vega was only used once in the history of Star Trek. So there's no reference for any other planet called Delta Vega. And then Orci actually stated that they fudged canon and they relocated the planet. They moved the planet. Those are his exact words. So, given that, then yes, it is meant to be the same Delta Vega from the episode Where No Man Has Gone Before. It's just in a whole different location in the galaxy, and it has a whole different climate. It totally blows the whole theory out of the water that this is the same universe as the original series up until Hero arrives. Which, once again, is perfectly fine with me. I would much rather think of the JJ verse as a alternate mirror universe, Twilight Zone, alternate reality that has nothing to do with the original series. The JJ verse is not a part of Star Trek as we know it. It's a whole different animal, different universe, different reality. Not the only thing it has in common with Star Trek is the names. That's it. There's so much different about JJ Trek compared to regular Star Trek that it can't be considered part of the same universe. But I will go into more differences at a later date. That's all for now. Live long and prosper.